A Place Called Kindergarten. The animals in the barn were happy. The sun was rising over the oak tree, and it was time for Tommy the boy to come down from the big house. He came every day. He'd bring the horse an apple and rub his dapple nose. He'd feed the sheep a biscuit and scratch his woolly back. He'd give the hen some corn and watch her sort and peck the kernels. He'd always have a fistful of dandelions for the cow, which he'd considered a delicacy. Sometimes Tommy would sing to them a song about the working on the railroad, and he'd throw his ball against the wall over and over, which they found soothing. He'd always talk to them like humans, which made them feel important. On this particular day, however, Tommy did not appear at the usual time. "Where could he be?" asked the horse. "I can't imagine," said the sheep. "He always comes," whined the hen. "Where on earth is he?" wondered the cow. If you'd been here listening in, it would probably have sounded like this. Neigh, cluck, moo, bah! Neigh, cluck, moo, bah! Just then the dog wandered by. The barn animals didn't like the dog much because they stole their food and barked an awful lot, but he knew what went on in that big house. "Hey, where's Tommy today?" the cow asked the dog. "He usually comes when the sun rises over the oak tree. He's gone." "Gone?" exclaimed the sheep. "Yep, he went on a big yellow bus." "Well, where'd he go?" asked the horse, who was quite alarmed. "I heard him talking," the dog yawned. "He went to a place called Kindergarten." "Kindergarten? Where's that?" said the barn animals, almost all at once. "Search me." The dog scratched an ear and then loped off to see the garbage can was tippy enough to be upended for a snack. The animals burst into a worried conversation. "Where is Kindergarten? What does it look like? What will happen to Tommy there? Will he ever come back?" If you had been there eavesdropping, it would have sounded like this. "Ba ba 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 ba! Moo moo moo! Cluck 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 cluck! Nee nee nee!" The sun had risen way past the oak tree and even past the barn, and still Tommy did not come. The animals were quiet, pretending to be calm. The horse, who was the tallest, peeked out the window every 2 or 3 minutes. The cow patrolled the door, the sheep listened for the boy-sized footsteps, and the hen paced in circles. Finally, the sun was dropping towards the distant cornfield, and they heard him. "Hello! I'm home!" "Yes!" bellowed the horse, and all the animals laughed and truly jumped for joy. The hen even blew a little. Into the barn walked Tommy with the biggest smile ever. His once yellow t-shirt looked like someone had thrown a rainbow at it. "Splat! I've been to kindergarten," he announced, "and I learned lots." The animals stood at polite and smiling attention as Tommy explained. "Listen to this. A is for apple. That's you." He handed the horse an apple and rubbed his nose like always. The horse smiled as much as you can when there's an apple in your mouth. "B is for biscuit. That's you." He gave the sheep a biscuit and scratched her curly wool till her eyes shut from the pleasure of it. "I learned all those letters today, and there's lots more to come. Tomorrow we start with E, then F and G and H. H is of horse, by the way. And I finger painted a picture of worms, and we planted seeds, and Mrs. Miller taught us about the world turning. Hey, I learned a new song today. Want to hear it?" Without waiting for a pause from his animal audience, who were there happily chewing on things, Tommy began. "When Mother Nature paints the sky, she puts a rainbow in it. Then she adds a small white cloud. It only takes a minute." Tommy sang his new song many, many times. He threw the ball against the wall. If you had been there, you would have thought the animals were singing it too, because it sounded sort of like this. "Cluck, ba, ba, moo, moo, nee, ba, cluck, ba, moo, nee, ba, cluck, ba, cluck, moo, nee, nee, ba, moo, cluck, ba, ba, moo, cluck, nee, nee." When it was getting dark, Tommy was called to the big house for supper. He yelled extra loud, "Good night! to the animals, threw the ball in the air as high as he could before he caught it, and charged out into the house. For a long while his song drifted down the hill from the barn. The animals settled in. The horse nibbled hay thoughtfully. The cow slurped some water and lay down to sleep. The hen plopped cozily into her nest. The sheep was not sleepy. "What do you suppose comes after H?" she asked. "He'll tell us tomorrow," said the horse, "after he goes to kindergarten." The end.